folks, I'm Lynn Woodland, and this is the year-long Miracles course program. We have a class every week. It's different every week. You can come in on a regular basis, or you can drop in from time to time. Of course, you get the most out of it if you come every week, because really every week does build upon the last, even though sessions are designed to feel complete in and of themselves. We work with a seasonal thematic context to place all of our different slants of personal and spiritual growth into, because that creates such a lovely blueprint for the whole of our human journey. So just like the seasons, you'll see every month builds upon the last, every week builds upon the last, every season builds upon the last, and there isn't any start or finish. So you can begin anywhere, any time of year. You can begin, and you won't feel like you're just coming in the middle of something. For any of you who haven't met me before, I'm an author of 2 books about miracles. The first is called Holding a Butterfly, and it really guides you right into a miracle experiment. So it's not so much a how-to create miracles as we are creating miracles right now as you read. It's kind of a different approach than a lot of, personal growth, self-help, spiritual growth books. And the second book is called The Breakthrough Point, which takes a really deep look at the times we're in and how to weather them, because it's so easy to look around and just say, okay, the world is coming, to ruin, and, what am I to do? And I can either go into despair or just hide my head. This book really presents what's happening now in the context of an evolutionary leap that humanity as a whole is in the midst of. And it gives a lot of examples, not just the, woo-woo kind of, I feel the divine energy shifting, but a lot of real world changes that have happened that we all know about, and maybe we've just made into background noise, that are real evidence that we're making a leap. We are changing in these very profound ways, not all for the bad. And it also gives a lot of experiments, and it continues the miracle experiment that starts in the first book, so that it takes you higher. It teaches you how to be a modern day spiritual activist, so that you are thriving even if the rest of the world is, going to hell in a handbasket around you, and you bring people up along with you. You're not just, becoming, a selfish billionaire who eventually gets taken down in a gigantic lawsuit. Won't mention any names. But anyway, let's get on with tonight's content. We're now in the month of April, and all through this month, as light continues to just rise and rise, we've been giving attention to some of the more spontaneous, emotional, and intuitive sides of our being. And as we open more fully to passion and emotion and sensation and feeling, let's see, I'm going to see who's not muted yet. Yeah, there we go. Just FYI, everybody just mute yourself while you're in here, unless you want to speak, because that'll make the background noise lower for everybody. As we open to these more fluid parts of our being, our passion, our feeling, all of that, our intuition, that whole rich range of inner experience that we might just habitually suppress for all kinds of reasons, probably learned so early that we don't remember when. It just makes us a lot more available to the very quiet whispers of spirit and of our inner guidance. And this week's lesson is all about cultivating our intuitive faculties. Because, we're a lot more psychic than we realize. All of us are. But most of us have been trained to marginalize or dismiss this faculty to such an extent, long before we reach adulthood, that we don't even know it's there. And now the good news is that it's possible and not even that difficult to bring our intuitive and even our psychic abilities back to life. And the work of the last couple of weeks helps lay a good foundation for this. So even if you fear you haven't an intuitive bone in your body, you may surprise yourself this week. There's mounting scientific evidence supporting the existence of a sort of worldwide web of consciousness. Now, a great book on this that I highly recommend is Larry Dossey's book called One Mind. He's the guy who's written a lot about prayer. He's a doctor. Prayer has been his big topic for many decades. His name is Dossey. His book, One Mind, is just a great collection of anecdotes. Make it really, really hard to dismiss. There's something going on that connects us. Now, another good one that gives all the cutting-edge science is Lynn McTaggart's book. Which one is it? The Field. The Field. Those two are excellent books on the one mind. And it's this idea that there's a sort of worldwide web of consciousness where all memory and information are stored. Now, scientists would call this the zero-point field, but it's an old notion to metaphysicians who have names for this collective mind, such as the Akashic record is one that comes from Eastern spiritual tradition. And now Carl Jung, who is the father of transpersonal psychology, called it the collective unconscious. Now, Nobel Prize-winning physicist Erwin Schrödinger, who is one of the pioneers of modern physics, he spoke of there being one mind, theorizing that our individual minds contributed to one universal mind. So if such a pool of information exists, then it makes sense it can be tapped. And maybe the most well-known medium of the last century was Edgar Cayce, did this by going into a trance state, where essentially he allowed his conscious mind and personality to completely go to sleep. He'd be completely unconscious while he channeled information from the collective mind. And there's a huge body of teaching based on this information. I mean, there's a gazillion books out there. Now, another well-known psychic of the last century, it was Rudolf Steiner. And he was the creator of the spiritually based Waldorf school movement, Waldorf being the second largest worldwide educational system after Montessori. He's also the creator of all kinds of inspired systems of gardening, of art, of healing through dance and more. And he received higher wisdom in a completely different way. Rather than going unconscious, Steiner expanded his mind to be able to view the Akashic records in a fully conscious state, which left his faculties of discernment and mental processing completely intact throughout. Because, we go unconscious and just channel. We never quite know what, who, where we're channeling from, never quite know. But, we all receive intuitive impressions differently. We may be primarily kinesthetic and experience strong emotions and sensations and hunches, or we may be more visually oriented and see visual imagery. Now, for those of us who are more auditory, we might hear a voice telling us things, or just have sounds or words come to us. Or we might just have an idea that doesn't seem like intuition, that just pops into mind. We don't even know from where. And at first, our intuitive impressions might feel made up or imagined. However, imagination really can lead us into intuition. I think of it as the doorway, boom, that can open us right into intuition, even psychic awareness. And because it shifts us from analytical left brain processing to the more creative mode of right brain thinking. And creative flashes of new ideas are yet another way intuition sometimes comes through. You know, for example, when I hit a roadblock in my writing process, my analytical mind gets stalled. I'll just stop for a moment. I'll close my eyes. I'll let my mind go blank, and I'll ask my angels of inspiration to just take over and help me, please. And then I'll take my mind off the paragraph or chapter that's given me trouble. Sometimes I'll just get up for a little bit and get some tea. Sometimes I'll just, put the piece of writing away for a day or two. And whenever I come back, generally new ideas just flow easily in a way that just doesn't feel quite from me. It feels like, wow, where did that come from? Like, whoa, that's good stuff. Thanks, guys. So this first exercise is a really simple one to just help you learn to discern your gut feelings about things. I was talking about this little exercise you're going to do in some of the readings earlier. And it's one that'll work better for you the more you practice it. It's about discerning yes or no. So just begin by closing your eyes and just get comfortable in your seat. And just take a couple of deep, full breaths to just help you relax. And turn your attention inward. And just let your mind float free. And now ask your senses, your body, to let you know how it conveys to you the message, yes. And see if you can recall a time, one of those times when your timing was just right, where you were in harmony with the people and circumstances around you, when what you were doing felt just right. You might have even thought of it as being falling into wonderful good luck, and you just go, yes. And as you recall this time, just notice everything you can about how your body felt. This is the inner experience of yes. Yes. People can really pin it down where you feel it in your body, maybe even what it looks like. Does it have a visual image that comes with it? Are there sounds that come with it? But in particular, where does it register in your physical body? Because there will be some physical component to this. And take a deep breath. Clear your mind. And now ask your body to let you know how it tells you no. That is when things don't feel quite right, when your timing's off, when things just aren't flowing smoothly. Maybe when you make the wrong decisions. How does your body feel? You may even recall a time you agreed to do something you didn't want to do, and it turned out as badly as you feared. Remember how your body felt when you said yes against your instincts. This is the inner experience of no. And again, see if you can pin that down where you feel it in your body, anything else that goes along with it. Any images, sounds. And now just take another deep breath or two and breathe out the feeling of no. Shake it out if you need to. Really get no out of your body. And recall the feeling of yes. Breathe that back into your body. Because yes is really a high vibrational state. Not the yes, use me, I'm a doormat state, but I say yes to life. That kind of yes is a very high vibration. So breathe that into your body. And when your body feels relaxed and comfortable, just come back, your eyes open. Well, let's keep going. We've got some more to do tonight. So anyway, begin paying attention to these signals. When your body is registering yes, when it's telling you no. You know, you'll get yes signals when you're, whatever you're doing or thinking is really in harmony with your highest self and your path of highest good. And you'll get no when, you're off track in some way. And again, if any of you are not sure the difference between no, this is off track, and no, I'm just afraid, do what I suggested just now of, on your own, asking your body to show you how they feel different and start, tweaking a little bit. These body messages really are a form of intuition, and you can use them to help you make, all kinds of decisions, cutting corners, being in the right place, the right time, and avoiding experiences that really aren't good for you. And I suggest experimenting in little ways at first so you build confidence. The next time you're invited somewhere and you're not quite sure if you want to go, check in with your body and see if you get a stronger yes or no feeling. Like today, my husband invited me to go on a walk, and I was feeling so tired. All I wanted to do was be a slug on the couch. And my inner voice was saying, go, you'll feel better. So I really, went against my resistance. And I did. We had a lovely, it wasn't even all that long, just helped me come back feeling rejuvenated. Then you can start to use it for more important things. You have an important phone call you need to make, or, something important, maybe not, life-changing, but still kind of important. Just check in with your body, see if it's the right time to do that. Maybe, if you get a no, maybe check in later. And just see how many ways you can find to practice the yes-no. I know this is invaluable to me through my whole cancer process, because I've never been really sick before and have had no experience with hospitals and the whole medical community and medical treatments, just never been there as a total virgin. And went to Mayo Clinic, got surgery, and the next thing up for me was radiation. And what was prescribed was conventional radiation. It sounded so draconian what they were going to have to do to me, like take all my teeth out first, like no more teeth, nothing, no implants, nothing going forward other than dentures, because my gums, on my jaw bone would be totally dead. And almost immediately thereafter, I'd start radiation, so God knows how it would even heal. And just all these things that it was going to do to my face. And I went home feeling devastated. And I didn't think I had a choice, I didn't want to die. But I really just listened, I prayed, and I just got a no, don't do it, no. And I really listened to it. It was really hard. It was like the Mayo Clinic, they supposedly know their stuff. They're the best, right? I said no. I did a healthy retreat for 3 weeks. I still had a recurrence. But by then, I did a whole another week of praying. But then my family just found another option, which was proton radiation therapy, which was incredibly less invasive. It's no picnic, but so much less invasive and I wouldn't have found it if I hadn't listened to my inner guidance, because Mayo didn't tell me about it. I didn't really know about it. Mayo told me they'd be about the same when we asked, who knew? I had to really listen to my guidance every step of the way to get to this process that really did work. 2 sets of scans now, I've been cancer-free. Seems pretty good. So, this ability to listen really pays off when you come to these really, life and death decisions. And the more you do it in little ways, the more you start having confidence in listening when you get it around something as important as, my God, my cancer treatment. Am I going to live or die if I listen? Big stuff. So the next thing we're going to do is going to be an exercise for getting more specific information from our inner guidance. And if you don't already have pen and paper nearby, go get some. I suggest always having that handy for these classes. But today in particular, you'll want to have that. So go get it. At first, intuition and psychic impressions, they might come in bits and pieces that don't seem to tell a cohesive story or even offer any kind of relevant information. And especially say, if we're doing intuitive work for another person, our impressions might seem to make absolutely no sense. But, they might wind up making sense to the receiver. And but on the other hand, the bits we receive just aren't enough. It's kind of like we find a few or even many pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, but we don't have enough pieces or significant connection between the pieces to show a coherent picture. So the following thing that we're going to do offers some structure for maybe fleshing out and putting together these impressions that might seem kind of random, dots that are too widely spaced. And remember, everyone receives information differently. So don't worry if you have a hard time filling in all the details as you do these exercises. You might find that all you need to do is quiet your mind and hold an intention to receive guidance, and poof, relevant thoughts and impressions just pop into your mind. Now, for many people, writing triggers intuition. And if you're struggling with this exercise at all, or if you just like to write, you might want to do this again over the week and turn the exercise into a written story. Because sometimes as we write, just the process of writing slows us down, and we embellish it more and more and more so that a lot more comes out. And remember, as you do this, it's okay to feel like you're just making stuff up, because whatever we're making up is coming from our imagination, and imagination is often the way in to intuition. So it's okay to feel like you're just telling yourself a story. And, alternately, you may get nothing at all. And then at some other time, in an entirely different context, that you might not even connect with this exercise, you'll receive whatever information you need. And, I think of this as, no frills inner guidance, where it gives us just what we need, and it doesn't stroke our ego with a lot of marvelous demonstrations of our psychic skills. And if you're a no frills type, know that it doesn't mean that you're not intuitive. While it's important to be able to discern and trust our intuition, awakening our psychic abilities to be able to see auras or hear voices of guidance or feel spiritual energy or see angels, it's useful only to the point that it serves our soul's purpose. And sometimes all that is very glamorous, but sometimes it can be more of a distraction from our purpose. I think of it as kind of like being so infatuated with the light that when it's turned on, we just blind ourselves staring at the light bulb instead of using the light bulb to help us see more clearly and to get more things done more effectively. For my own life, when I was in my late teens to about age 20, I just practiced all kinds of exercises that were about traveling out of my body and seeing clairvoyantly. And I actually was successful enough that I found myself just spontaneously receiving psychic impressions of dreadful things about to happen to other people. And my impressions were accurate, but I just had no idea what to do with them. I was just really bogged down by them. And it makes sense. I was at the age where I had all that emotionality to tune right into other people's drama and angst. And so my angst just connected with theirs, but I had no power or wisdom to help. And very suddenly, I found my ability to view in this way just poof, turned off very suddenly and completely. It felt like my inner parent came along and said, "Turn off that TV and do your homework, young lady." And I just received this very clear directive from my inner guidance in these words, that my spiritual work was about doing, not viewing. And for a couple of decades, with very rare exceptions, I didn't do much, if any, intuitive viewing. And it was when I was around 40 and was really better equipped to actually help people. I developed a little bit of emotional maturity by then. I found my old ability to see for people spontaneously returning, but instead of my inner drama tuning into theirs, I started seeing some things that could actually be useful and helpful. So, don't worry about all the psychic phenomenon and if you're seeing, blah, de blah. This is about, do you have what you need to know to live your life truly effectively and helpfully? So here we're going to do an exercise. First thing is to identify an important issue around which you'd really like some higher guidance. You don't ever have to share this, so it can be as private and personal as you want, because it's important to get serious about this and come up with a real and important request. The quality of the request really affects the quality of the guidance we receive. So, dig down, see what you most really want to know something about, what you need guidance around. And don't frame the issue so much as a request for a future prediction, as in, is this going to happen or is that going to happen? Because really the future isn't informed yet. We're creating it in every moment. So, and you don't want to get the future really carved into being by getting an inner guidance message that you then carve into stone. You don't want to do that. Instead, frame your question more generally in the form of, what do I need to know around this issue to serve my highest good? Now, putting it in writing is going to help give it clarity and focus. So just take a moment to write it down. And I'll give you some time for that. Actually, writing just takes it from your brain, your kind of out here, takes it all the way through your physical body, kind of brings it down to earth. So it really focuses your intention, starts creative juices working in that direction. So that's why I say, do writing. And then close your eyes. Go into a quiet place. And take some deep, full breaths. Really let your attention turn inward. As you begin this, take a moment to invoke the power and wisdom of your higher self and ask that it help to rise above or put aside any personal issues clouding your higher perceptions. And just bring your question, your issue lightly to mind without straining your brain or stressing in any way. Simply hold it softly and handing it up to a higher, wiser part of yourself. And then letting it go. And just watch the rhythm of your breath. Just let yourself relax. And just inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. Every muscle relaxed. Your attention turned inward. And just let your mind become very soft and open, fluid. And just imagine your focus broadening in the way your vision does. When you shift from viewing something up close to taking in the whole horizon at once. And imagine your inner eyes now doing just this, taking in the whole horizon at once. And now that horizon softens into unfocused, diffused light, no lines, no objects, nothing but a blank screen. And just watch this blank screen until you see a scene or an image take form. Don't plan or choose it, just see what shows up first. And as anything takes form in your mind's eye, just let the image become clear. Just watch it, see what it does. Let it move or change or unfold. And ascribe a feeling to this image. Does it feel closer to anger, to sadness, fear, joy, love, guilt, shame, peace, contentment, confusion, empowerment, victory or defeat, or something else altogether? And now imagine this image, whatever it is having a narrator's voice. And the voice is describing the scene to you. And listen to the sound and quality of this voice. Just notice, is it male or female? Is it young or old? Kind, gentle, or fierce? Is it easygoing or urgent? Is it powerful? Is it humorous or serious or something else? Imagine it's the voice of a spiritual guide who's come in response to your request for assistance. And this guide might appear as a guardian angel, a teacher spirit, a personified embodiment of collective wisdom, an aspect of your own higher self, or any image of God that holds meaning for you. Now, don't decide upon a guide so much as allow one to show up. Just let the guide just present itself to you. Let yourself be surprised. And see what form this helper being has taken, and just notice everything you can. And if it's difficult to envision the being, then just sense their presence or hear their voice. And what qualities and personality traits do you feel emanating from your guide? Notice how you feel in their presence. And let your helper explain or show or in some way convey to you how this image is connected to your issue. See if it's showing you a next step, or maybe a new way of being, or an option you hadn't considered. Is the image suggesting you need to apply courage or strength or perseverance? Is it maybe guiding you to be gentle and receptive? Does it want you to be active or still? Is it showing you that you're right on track? Or maybe that you need to change your course in some way? Is this image calling you to be humorous, compassionate, accepting, open-minded, willing, focused, giving, or telling you to set clear boundaries? You just really play lightly with the image and with all the metaphors that come to mind, and just let yourself free associate for a moment. And just take a moment with this. Just be in your image with your guide. See what comes. Gently let this experience complete itself. And end by thanking your guide. And even if you didn't get the clear answers you wanted handed to you on a platter, still offer your gratitude anyway, and then let all your thoughts on the matter go with the certainty that you will receive clarity when you're ready for it, maybe when you least expect it. As you're ready, just gently, one more deep breath, open your eyes, come back. So, and I think you all know I do this as my service. I used to teach this for money. Now I do it as a volunteer on behalf of nonprofits who, keep all the revenue of the donations you give. And the one request I have for your attendance is that for every class you attend live or review via the written materials, where you'll also find recordings of meditations and just a recording of the live class as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the hidden page. If you either go there or attend a live class, please do offer a donation for each. Listen to your intuition on it, not your voice of fear, not your voice of should. When we get into the summer, we'll work more with prosperity principles, and we'll learn the difference between the two, and also the power of giving to our spiritual support, kind of giving up. It's a great way of pulling more back. So do give to your spiritual community that sent you here. And, until we meet again, just have a lovely, blessed week full of miracles. It's always an honor to be with you. I love and bless you. Namaste, everybody.